think this conversation's been thrown back in our faces a handful of times by people this year, but I think the full context of it is needed. Like when we talked about Stuart Skinner potentially getting a Jeremy Swayman-esque deal, it was, again, kind of conditioned on like, okay, what if he has a really good start to the year and he goes plays for Canada at the Four Nations and he takes the Oilers on another cup run and maybe they, win the Stanley Cup? Then it's like the idea that Skinner could get to a Jeremy Swayman level in terms of his contract worth was not insane. The way this season's played out, it's taken him out of that range, I believe.
I think so too.
But then you see Logan Thompson go and sign for $5.85 million, 6-year deal. They commit long-term to this guy in his first season with the team. And hey, he's a legitimate Vezina caliber goaltender this season. And his career numbers are also very good, like a .915 career save percentage. Last year, he started 42 games for the Golden Knights, had a .908. That's really good. .915 the year before in 36 starts. Like Logan Thompson is a good goalie, 27 years old. You commit to him for 6 years. Like, I don't hate this bet by Washington, but I also do think they are taking on a lot of risk. And you went and looked at this over at OilersNation.com, and like, Stu Skinner is no Thompson.
Says who?
And again, it's just like Oilers fans, you got to pull off the Oilers blinders here for a second. Last season, .905 save percentage in 57 games for a guy who is 2 years younger almost than Logan Thompson, a year and a half younger than Logan Thompson. They had basically identical numbers last year. The difference is one guy has come out and had a remarkable first 26 games of the season, and the other guy's been inconsistent so far this year. So, again, Logan Thompson gets 6 by 5.85. I think that is probably what you eventually have to give Stuart Skinner. And I think it might even be the starting point for Stuart Skinner when you have that conversation a year from now, depending on how the playoffs go. But I think this is a very good comparable for Stuart Skinner. And like Southpaw, Logan Thompson coming into his stride after his mid-20s. Fucking exactly. Stuart Skinner is in his mid-20s. He could be just hitting his stride. Like the lack of patience is crazy to me. I think this is going to be a carbon copy for Stuart Skinner's eventual extension in the summer. What say you?
I think it'll be a little bit more. One thing I like to say is I think the Oilers did a really good job of sorry, I did miss Joey Decord on this. Joey Decord should be around that at Eden Hill one, but the Oilers did a good job of getting Skinner locked up when they did. People may not know this, but Skinner is younger than Jeremy Swayman and Jake Ottinger, and both those guys make $8.5 million over an 8-year span. They just signed their contracts when they were 25. Skinner's contract will kick in when he's 27, turning 28 in November of that year. I think he's going to fall just above Thompson and just below UC Soros. Since Skinner's contract kicked in, there is, I think it is off the top of my head, 4 goalies in the NHL who have played more games than him. It's Hellebuck, Soros, and Gorgiev. And he's tied for games with Jordan Binnington. Only Hellebuck has better numbers than him in save percentage and goals against average. And he's played 92 games, started 90. I think we're looking at probably 625, 6, somewhere around there.
6 by 625. I can get behind.
This will really be dependent on how, obviously, I don't even think it matters fully what happens the rest of the season. I think we know he's going to be what he kind of has been most of this year, which is an above average goaltender. It's going to be determined by the playoffs. How is he able to kind of stay in there for every single game? It's okay to have nights off. Obviously, it's not okay, but it's going to happen. It's inevitable. I think this playoffs is really going to determine things. My prediction, at the most, I don't think he actually touches a Soros number of 7.74. Most, I would say, is 7 if things go perfectly. The Oilers win the Stanley Cup. He's clearly the best goalie in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think we're probably looking at, like I said, around a 6.25 for 5-6 years, somewhere around there. I think he deserves more than Thompson. I think he deserves more than Blackwood.
He's been on playoff runs.
Neither of those guys. Blackwood's never played a playoff game. Thompson, I believe, has played 10 or just shy of 10.
Yeah. So something else that I just want to quickly do this and run the numbers on it here. I'm going to do it live on the air. Your MChuck math, get ready. It's everyone's favorite segment. So last season, I just want to look at last year for a moment. There were 5, because someone said Skinner's lows are much worse than Thompson's lows.
Okay. Thompson
gave up 5 or more goals in 5 games last year, and he had 42 starts. So 5 divided by 42, 11.9% of his games, you could say, were bad starts. Last year, Stuart Skinner was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times out of 57. So 7 times out of 57 is 12.2. So Stuart Skinner allows, let's call that the lows, right? 5 or more goals in a game, I think would be a bad start. 3 and 4 goals against is, 4 is not a good start either. 2 and 3 is fine. 0 or 1 is great, but let's use 5. 11.9% for Thompson last year. 12.2% for Stuart Skinner. We're really sitting here and saying 0.3 of a percentage point in terms of how many, the percentage of your starts where they're truly awful. This year, again, Logan Thompson's having an unbelievable start. He should be on Team Canada. I'm not trying to discount that. And I'm not trying to say Stuart Skinner's on Logan Thompson's level this season. He's not. He's not even close, right? If I had a Vezina ballot, Logan Thompson's number 2 on it right now.
Yes.
If I had a say in Team Canada, Logan Thompson's on that team over Stuart Skinner, and I would have said that 2 months ago.
He's over all 3 of the goalies on there right now.
Probably. But the idea, again, that Stuart Skinner and the Oilers have been elite defensively this year. I think that also helps. Washington's been good defensively too, but again, sure. I just think that the idea that Skinner's lows are so bad, I still just stand by that it sticks in people's brains more. So
yeah, I think people sometimes use him being on a good team as a disadvantage to him. It's look at Colorado. They had to go out and get a better goalie because Gorgiev wasn't good enough for them, and they have one of the best blue lines in the NHL. It goes both ways. I think both have to work well together, and I think Skinner deserves probably, like I said, around 6.25. And again, this is all very dependent on how the next 6 months go. We'll call it.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.